of that. But these are the kind of things that can actually be tangible pieces that council can work on to increase that private sector, or to enhance or dangle the carrot to the private sector, let's say.
Is there anyone else who would like to take on this question? Andy?
Okay, so we have built Abbey Manor and run it successfully. So we have a track record in terms of seniors housing that we now need to build on. During this election, I talked about 500 people, and one night I went to see a couple, Owen and Ursula. They live down by 2nd and D Avenue. He's recently built a workshop, 2,500 to do the employee. Building's 300 square foot, cost $24,000 to build it all together. And I invited some people, a local architect, an engineer, and someone from the Housing Society to go and look at that building as a potential model to begin to do some infill housing. Because I think we need to specifically start building some units as we're building up to the bigger projects. We need to demonstrate that we have a capacity. And I'll cite the example, and I don't know whether Tyler's still here, but in 2005, just before I was elected, Tyler came to me and asked whether or not I could help him support Kin moving into the north end of Kootenai Lake. And after I was elected, I went to the people in Meadow Creek who had $40,000 set aside, and I arranged for that money, which was originally meant to build a fire hall, to give some seed money to Kin. Within a short time, we negotiated the loan repayment, and then Kin got some more money, and that helped start Kin down the road. Working together, creating partnerships, raising funds to do things. That's the way we're going to do this, one bite at a time.
It was mentioned about the trailer park, and one thing when I was in there knocking on doors, talking to people, now this is just what I've been told, talking to people, so it's not verified, but it was that the people that bought the trailer park were adding several new mobile homes to it. And I saw them sitting there, and I was told that they've been issued stop orders, and they're not being built, or at least placed in. They're already built, but they're not on their pads. And I also was told that the mobile park is not even village property. It's run by the section right here. Can you tell me if that's true? No? So it's village? It's village property? Okay. So this is one of the problems talking to people. But yeah, okay. So it's definitely village, like they pay taxes on it and it's village? Okay. Can you tell me why they got stop orders then? So RC.
The Village of Kaslo contracts out the building inspection to the regional district, and that's probably the confusion, is that it's a regional district service being used in village jurisdiction, but the building code is a BC provincial code. It's uniform across all of BC, but the regional district is the one providing the service to the village. So that's probably the regional district confusion.
I think I'd like to be careful about not talking about private people's challenges on their own land. If we don't know enough, and unless that person is here to talk about their own challenges, I'd rather avoid that issue. But we do have anyone who would like to talk about their ideas about private and public partnerships that could create housing, then Jeffrey, would you like to say something about that?
Just one comment I was kind of wanting to make is, So you drive through, on the way up here, especially if you go the northmost route, you drive through a lot of kind of resort towns, like Whistler, for example. And we definitely need housing in Kaslo. That's, we figured that one out. But what I think we need to be careful of is that Kaslo doesn't turn into one of those resort towns. Because while we do need housing, I personally don't really like the way it looks too. Everywhere you look, it's just condominiums and condominiums everywhere. So while we do need housing, I think we need to talk to the community and be very careful that we don't turn into just a town that's known as another resort place.
I just wanted to comment about, I think some of the current mayor and councillors have alluded to the fact that things take a long time, and they do. And the actual start of going down the road of the expansion of the sewer was creating the OCP, which was probably 10 years ago now. So quite a few years ago. And out of that came the liquid waste management plan, which then came to, the proposing the expansion of the sewer system, which was again based on the need for affordable housing. So this is 9 years later. We are trying, or 8, I guess. I'm not very good at math. Not my forte. As much as we all agree that affordable housing is a huge issue, we do have to understand that there's a lot of hoops that we need to go through. And these things aren't going to happen overnight, but with the diligent work that the current council is doing and the future, then we'll eventually get there. But it does take a long time for these things to happen.
Can we move on to another question? Would somebody else like to ask? Would you like to ask? Would just go to the mic? Thanks. And that's Miriam, right?
Yes, sorry. I guess the question I have, and hope it's okay to ask, is why is the housing society only being given 0.8 of an acre versus the whole 3 point whatever acres that was originally promised? What are the plans for the other part of the land? Is it on hold until the society's proven that they can build up to 0.8 acres, or why not give it all now?
Who would like to take that?
Well, there were 2 separate parcels, at least 2 separate parcels, and the smaller one, because of the discussions that Councillor Van Mill had as liaison with the Housing Society, it was determined at that point that the smaller parcel was what they wanted, if I interpreted that correctly, and to do sort of a demonstration project. It's not like council, or the current council was the plan was to turn around and sell the rest of it. Thank you for Kaslo Housing Society for servicing it, and we're going to sell it off for a big amount of money. That land has been held since 2001 for Housing Society initiatives, and I don't think that's going to change overnight because we've only signed a lease for 0.8 of an acre. The thing is, with a larger project like that, or the thought of a larger project, it's a larger decision than just the 5 members of council. It's sort of a community-wide decision that should be made because it sets a precedence for what's going to happen on a large parcel of land. And should it all be for one purpose? I didn't get to answer the one question, and my fear is that if the whole parcel was used strictly for affordable housing, that people could be seen as different, right? You end up with Welfare Heights or something. You wouldn't want people to be stigmatized. I like the idea of the small pockets of affordable housing so people can be integrated with other people of other economic circumstances. So it's not, these people, none of them have money, so they're a different class of people. I don't want to see that happen.
I'm going to ask as a public. On the south side of the river and on the west side of the highway, There's a whole big plat of land, and that is opposite the golf course, and it's called Oak Avenue. It's very short, and then that's all village land. There are quite a few parcels that are on the steep slope beneath Arena. There's this contiguous belt of land that kind of starts at Arena Road, roughly, and goes down to the private land that goes along the river. This is all under a zoning called Comprehensive Development Area. And I would like to ask, and I wouldn't mind giving each of you a minute on this, how would you propose consulting the community to find out what is the best use for this land? Like, how do you, what is your vision for this huge tract of contiguous village land, of which 1.8 of an acre has been offered by lease, 99-year lease, to the Kaslo Housing Society?